How do you solve the inflation problem with more inflation? Good evening, folks, and welcome back to another episode of Silver Dad Knows. Remember, always live with no edits. If this is your first time here, hit that subscribe button now, as you're going to like what I'm about to say. So generally, on this channel, I rarely feature gold. However, this is a very special piece to me, and I did want to share it with you. So here we have a 2013 gold American Buffalo. Although you're probably looking at it like, okay, this is a small piece in comparison. This is still 1 ounce of pure gold. The verse showcases a Native American, and the reverse, it features the iconic American Buffalo. These are relatively new coins, first offered in 2006, and is the first 24-karat gold coin minted by the U.S. government for public distribution. Its 99.99% gold purity ranks it as one of the purest gold coins in the world. So the design was created by James Earl Fraser back in 1913, so over a century ago. Fraser used the likeness of 3 Indian chiefs to create the one-of-a-kind design. JM Bullion is currently selling these for $2,600 to $2,700 with free shipping. And I was looking at that today. So unless you're purchasing with crypto or some other online accounts, it will generally cost you, I want to say, $26,500, $26,600 to be exact. So not a little bit of money. They are quite costly. So real quick, folks, before I continue, I do want to give a quick shout out to Veritas Files, is one of my loyal subscribers. And this is a comment that they made earlier today. At the end of the day, this will be a battle between the 1% and the 99%. You might think that would mean the 99% will automatically win, but that's not true. The 1% have their hands wrapped around virtually all of the levers of power. And there are plenty among the 99% who will gladly join the side of evil for some short-term benefits. It will ultimately come down to people making choices whether to support good or evil, right or wrong. If you're on the side good and right, you'll be on the side of those who prefer freedom, transparency, honesty, discipline in government spending, sound money, and stacking of the monetary metals. If you're on the side of evil and wrong, then you'll be on the side of the climate alarmists, the big government politicians, the central banks, those who prefer CBDCs for the future, and those who prefer the poorest among us minimal short-term lifelines in the form of welfare or government services in exchange for their unquestioning support. You decide. Keep stacking. So there you have it. Veritas Files, one of my loyal subscribers. Always insightful comments. Yes, you know, they can be pretty bleak statements. However, we are living in a bleak world where there's a lot of things happening in real time that were not occurring a decade ago. They were not occurring 15 years ago, 5 years ago, 2 years ago. Things are escalating very quickly. And that's why you have to keep in mind, it's ignorant to follow trends, as trends always tend to keep us oppressed. 99% of people are passive, yet complain they don't have enough money saved. The 99% always choose the trends in the music that they listen to the books that they read, to the TV shows that they watch, to the way they dress, and the way they think. The 99% are broke because they choose to be. You listen to garbage music, you'll want to live a garbage lifestyle. Read garbage books, watch garbage shows, you'll have garbage thoughts. Only about 10% of Americans own precious metals because it's not trendy. Stop following the trends and start following the 1%. While the 99% will continue to follow mindless and destructive trends, they won't even realize the second wave of inflation as it degrades their lifestyles further. Jamie Dimon already said that interest rates are probably going to remain elevated. That's disturbing. especially when you consider how most Americans are waiting for rates to drop. It's comical in a very messed up way. Listen in. So many experts are already saying the vast majority of Americans will never be able to retire because of increasing inflation. How do you solve the inflation problem with more inflation? You don't. 50 cents on the dollar will eventually be needed just to pay the interest on our debt. Not pay back any of the debt, just the interest. Before the end of this decade, 100% of government tax revenues will be for interest on the debt. Our standard of living is going to come way down when this bubble bursts, and we can't live beyond our means anymore. The wealth gap will continue to widen as a result of the Fed and government policy. The biggest wealth gap is always in socialism and communism. A few work for the government and have all the wealth, and everybody else lives in poverty. Capitalism is the great equalizer. It narrows the gap and creates a lot of wealth. The more you benefit society, the more you earn. But Americans are more distracted and more divided than ever. We're already living in a Cold War type of scenario in this country. Either you believe in merit or you believe in group quotas. Either you believe in free speech or you believe in censorship. Either you believe that nations have borders or you don't. Either you believe in American exceptionalism or you don't. Both notions cannot coexist. We have to change course to be one nation again. But it starts with us as individuals. So right here, next to my gold piece, I have one of my many uncirculated 1971 Eisenhower dollars. Again, if you follow this channel, you already know these are some of my favorite coins. In 1971, the U.S. Mint brought back a dollar denominated coin for the first time since the Peace Dollar series ended in 1935. Its theme on the obverse was to celebrate the life of President and General Dwight D. Eisenhower. Eisenhower was a 5-star general in the U.S. Army, a U.S. politician, and the 34th president of these United States. He served as Supreme Commander of the Allied forces in Europe during World War II, and in 1951, he became the first Supreme Commander of NATO. Here on the back, which I love this, let me just clean it a little bit foggy. Really, really love this back. See on the reverse, we notice the Apollo 11 moon landing. Due to the significance of the year 1969, which was the same year of Eisenhower's death. These dollars were issued between 1971 and 1978 and struck at the Philadelphia, Denver, and San Francisco mints. In 1971, the Eisenhower dollar was released as a special silver collectible and never released into circulation. So that's the reason why these 1971 Philadelphia uncirculated pieces ranked 27th out of all issues by mintage figure and is ranked number 6 out of 8 out of all issues struck at the Philadelphia Mint. I have a very loyal customer. He buys these from me every other week, every few weeks. I'll sell him about 10, 15, 20. I always give him great deals on these because the only ones that I get are the uncirculated pieces. So what's interesting is you might look at it and you might say, okay, well, that's interesting. Why does it have why is it not perfect, you know, for you to say this is uncirculated? So if you look at all these pieces that are uncirculated, you get that nice shine. Of course, there's no dirt on it. There's no smudges on it. Aside from, there's little smudges, of course, on the plastic, but on the actual coin itself. So when you look for the uncirculation, this is more or less how they're going to be. You never want to get polished coins. When you polish a coin, the actual piece, unless it's, enclosed, the way this gold piece is, or the way I have these in plastic, unless it's enclosed, just never polish a piece, It doesn't make sense. You bring down the value. You want to get it as original as possible. That is where the money is at. But folks, thank you so much as always for joining us for another episode of Silver Dad Knows. We have officially hit over 500 subscribers as of earlier today. This channel was started 76 days ago, and since then we've really ramped up. So I anticipate by June, we will already have hit the 1,000 subscribers. And yes, I'm going to keep going with this, guys. So again, thank you so much for joining us. God bless your households. God bless you. And as always, God bless America.